here's the thing. For everybody listening, don't make the same mistake the Bengals just did in any facet of your life.
People are going to get hurt. It's the hockey season. And if they want to make the deep run to the playoffs, they're going to need players. And Ben Hutton is a good defenseman that can help.
I don't think they will. If they don't have Anthony Davis, I'm saying it right now. If Anthony Davis is out for the playoffs, they don't make it out of the first round.
I was very tempted to just put defense.
What about the Jared Cook play on the sideline? And then Mason Crosby's 55-yard field goal or something like that. That was a good one.
Come on, Austin and I have been saying this ever since Joe Burrow got injured.
I just do not see Harden putting in the same amount of effort into each game. And I honestly believe that's why he hasn't won a championship yet.
That's a perfect name. What you said, name brand players. Like, it's not the great value Target brand toilet paper or whatever. It's the Charmin Ultra Strong.
I swear we didn't script that.
Fultz is injured, and he really hasn't lived up to the potential of being the number one overall pick when he was selected by the Sixers.
Like you said, Ovechkin, he's getting older. He hasn't been playing as well as I imagined. He's one of the greatest goal scorers of all time, but he hasn't started off this season as hot as I would hope.
How is Joe Burrow going to get the ball to them if his butt is already on the ground and he finally decides who to throw to?
I don't really think the Dodgers are going to make the World Series this year. I feel like they'll make it to the NLCS.
And then I want to talk about the Fernando Tatis extension, because that really surprised me. Because he's so young. You see the Chiefs beefing up their O-line, and then you have the Buccaneers beefing up their defensive line.
Ingrained in the life of Tom Brady and what winning actually looks like, I think will be a very good move for Bruce Arians and this Bucs organization.
Hi, I'm Jeff Allen, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week for the Super Bowl. We're doing predictions and storylines to start off the game like they will start off the game for the Super Bowl. We're going to predict the coin toss. Heads or tails, Austin?
Heads. I'm always heads.
I'm going tails.
I know people always say tails never fails, but
It failed Josh Allen.
heads is always the answer. Heads is always right. I swear heads is always right.
It was right. I think both. No, it wasn't right in the Chiefs game. Because didn't the Bengals say heads?
I don't remember.
But
I don't
I'm
remember.
pretty sure
I don't
Josh
normally
Allen,
don't watch. I don't normally watch the first.
Well, I
coin
remember
toss.
Josh Allen tweeted out pain, so I'm pretty sure Josh Allen did not call heads. He went tails. So
He
I'm
went
gonna go
tails.
Josh
I
Allen.
know he went tails. Yeah, because I watched that. Yeah. But yeah, you're going tails. I'm going heads.
All right. Now we can go into storylines. We have 5 storylines, and the first one we have is Sean McVay with Matt Stafford versus Sean McVay with Jared Goff. This is 4 years ago. This is the 4th Super Bowl or third.
Because it was 18, and then it was 19, 20, and now it's 21. This is 21. So there's been 2 Super Bowls in between. It was 3 Super Bowls ago.
And that, of course, is the Patriots and Rams Super Bowl, where the Rams only scored 3 points, and that is with McVay with Jared Goff. So they traded away Jared Goff for Matt Stafford, who is a better quarterback than Jared Goff. And so the thing is, Sean McVay is regarded and has earned the right to be, he's one of the best offensive coaches right now. How is he going to do with Matt Stafford? Because the last time he was in the Super Bowl, he only got 3 points.
That's true, but the Patriots defense was also a premier force that 18 and 19 season. What's crazy about that is like they were not great 16 and 17 compared to their standards, especially in the playoffs. They allowed a lot of points that those Patriots teams, and then the 18 and 19 they turned down, and they were not allowing any points basically, except for against that Chiefs team. But I think they will score more points than the 3. That's not all that impressive, but I do think they'll do more against this Bengals defense than what Jared Goff did. But that's not really all that fair because the Bengals defense is not what the Patriots defense was.
But it's also Matt Stafford has some nice weapons in Cooper Kupp, who was in that.
No,
And-
he was out for that year.
Oh,
he
he
was
was
out
out?
for the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Oh, I
But
forgot.
Robert Woods is out for this one. But they didn't have Odell. But they did
Yeah.
have Brandon Cooks. Wow. They had Brandon Cooks instead of Odell. and Robert Woods was in for Cooper Cup. That's how you can think of it.
So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And then moving on to our second storyline, Joe Burrow. Dan Marino in his second year was in the Super Bowl, did not win. And then second year, Tom Brady won the Super Bowl. And of course, Tom Brady has won multiple Super Bowls, but Dan Marino never returned. And it's just, will we see Joe Burrow back in the Super Bowl? And how does he seize this moment? Because some great QBs who are still in the league, like Russell Wilson, Mahomes, and Rodgers. Rodgers made it his sixth season. And then Mahomes, third starting, and Mahomes made it his third and fourth, and Wilson made it his second and third. But we may not see Mahomes back in the Super Bowl. We haven't seen Wilson in the Super Bowl since he lost to the Patriots, and Rodgers we haven't seen since in the Super Bowl. And then, of course, you have Peyton Manning, who went to the Super Bowl his first time in his ninth year, and he visited the Super Bowl 3 times, but he only won twice. But the guy who capitalized on his chances is Eli Manning. He made it to 2 Super Bowls, and he won both.
Mm-hmm. Peyton Manning's actually been to 4 Super Bowls, by the way. He beat the Bears. He lost to the Saints. He lost to the Seahawks. He lost to the Seahawks, and then he beat the Panthers. But, yeah, in that last Super Bowl, while he was not a premier force, offensively speaking, mentally speaking, I do think he helped the team win. I don't know if they could have done it with Brock Osweiler, even though they could have, maybe. I don't know. And all these other guys, yeah, Russell Wilson, he shadowed Brady. He won one in his first year, and he, even though he lost one in his third year, Brady didn't go to the Super Bowl his third year. So that would be ahead of Brady those first 3 seasons based on team performance, and he fell off. Mahomes, his second year starting, third year in the league, he made it, won it. Third year starting, fourth year in the league, lost first Tom Brady, didn't make it this past season. So there's a lot of if and buts here. Matt Ryan is a player who's made it, won the MVP. I do think he deserves to be in this talk. Phillip Rivers never made a Super Bowl. He made a couple AFC championships and lost to Tom Brady. I think every time, maybe one time he lost to the Colts, but I think every time he went to the AFC championship, he lost to Brady. And a lot of great quarterbacks never make it again. Joe Flacco in his one appearance won it. You only sometimes get one shot. And I know people are going to call, if one of us says that Joe Burrow never makes it again, they're going to call that person a hater. And some people, like we say, well, he's going to make it a ton of times. They're going to say, oh, we're just recency bias. There's no good way for us to choose here because either we're being we're using recency bias, or we're just being a hater. If I'm being honest, I think he makes to it another one. If I'm being honest, I feel like if they just build this offensive line, I feel like they will have a quality offense moving forward that could make it to another. Now, will he ever win one? I have no idea. I'm not going to say he is or isn't. If I had to choose, I would say no. I don't think he's winning this year, and if he makes it to another one, I don't think their defense is good enough to stop Cooper Kupp. I don't think they can. Even though I do like some of their defensive pieces, I don't think like Trey Hendrickson's not going to be 100%, and Andrew Whitworth is 100%, so I don't think their pass rush is going to be all that effective. And if they make it again, you never know. Many people have made it twice and lost both times. I mean, that just sometimes is what happened. John Elway lost his first 3 Super Bowl appearances. So stuff like that can happen. And if I had to say, if I'm just making a career prediction, I could be wildly wrong. I'd say Joe Burrow makes 2 Super Bowls in his career and loses both. That's what my prediction is. I could be completely wrong. He could make 9 and win 9. I have no idea. I'm not going to say I'm right, definite right. We're making a very wild prediction about a guy in his second season in the NFL. And I know I probably would have made the same prediction about Brady too, because he was going against the Rams team that was definitely superior, at least on paper. And I know no one expected him to go to 10 and win 7. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Brady has definitely spoiled us. Like, this is great for Joe Burrow making it in his second season. And he hasn't even played a full 2 seasons. But, like you said, Brady has been to 10 and won 7. It's still a great career if Joe Burrow makes 2. But they all have to understand, the players in this. This may be the last time they do it. Like, the Bengals had such an improbable run.
Yeah, you have to capitalize. It's those dream runs.
The number one team, Titans. Then you go and face that was in the divisional round, and then they come back to down.
You missed the wild card game where
Well,
they
yeah.
placed the Raiders, but yeah.
But then you knock off the number one team, and then you knock off the Chiefs to get here, and now you have a greater task while your offensive line is just battered. If they fix the offensive line, they could do better in the regular season, but you just don't know what it costs. You've made it here, so I just hope it's a close game. And if to go against your prediction, I don't know if we see Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl again. I don't know. We could.
Interesting.
I'm just erring on the side. You fix that line problem, and you probably have to pay a bunch of people. Then what happens to your defense? That's just, the more I think about it, is maybe the only time, but it's still incredible. But we could see. I go back and forth. Like, I could see him going to another Super Bowl, but it with how wild the AFC is and just how many good teams there are, in my opinion. Like, you have the Bills, you have the Chiefs, you have the Bengals if they fix the offensive line, and then of course maybe the Patriots come back, or there's so many teams like the Chargers too. There are so many teams that I think could beat each other, so I don't know if you can have multiple chances to making it from the AFC to the Super Bowl. That's
why it makes no sense. How did I know how, but how did the Antonio Brown Steelers never make a Super Bowl? Like, technically he was on the team against the Packers. He was a rookie that year and basically a punt returner and did not play all that much. But I'm talking after that season. The Le'Veon Bell, Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, where they were in their prime from 2015 to 2017. How did that team not make it? You never know how long the ride's going to go. And like you said, the AFC has teams like the Bills, the Titans, the Ravens if they get Lamar back, the Chiefs, obviously. The Dolphins could become something. They were very hot at the end of the year. We don't know how they're going to be moving forward. The Raiders could make some big free agency moves. You never know when you're going to make it, and you have to take 100% effort into it. You have to play with absolute desperation because you never know if you're going to make it again. That's why I never understand tanking, because maybe you could make the playoffs, and then maybe you could beat the 1 seed, and then go. Maybe. We look at a team like the 2007 Giants, the Eli team. They beat the 49ers, I believe, and then they beat the Cowboys, the 1 seed Cowboys, and then they beat the Brett Favre Packers. Brett Favre Packers, and then they beat the 16-0 Patriots. Like, who would have thought? And you just have to go with that mentality of, it doesn't matter what's happened before. The season's 0-0 for both of these teams.
And then one more thing before we move on. Drew Brees only made 1 Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And he should have been to a second one, but the Rams. But still, that's just the way the game goes. Yeah. And Drew Brees and Sean Payton only made 1 Super Bowl together.
At least they won 1. The same thing with Rodgers. Like, you can never take away that he won 1.
Yes.
You can't. Brett Favre only won 1.
And it's still an incredible career. And this is a great achievement in just the young career of Burrow. But depending on how this game goes, if it's a blowout, they're never going to forget how Joe Burrow played. Like, people are never going to forget how Mahomes played last year in that Super Bowl. And then the same thing with Russell Wilson in that play call with Malcolm Butler.
Super Bowls are destiny defining. It does not matter how you play in the regular season. If you come to play in the Super Bowl, you will be remembered forever. Forever. You think of a guy like Phil Simms, who won a Super Bowl? Mediocre career, but he had one of the best Super Bowl performances ever. He had almost a perfect passer rating in the Super Bowl, played out of his mind, and Giants fans remember him fondly because of that. So, it's 1 game for the rest of your life, and you have to play like it's absolute desperation.
Now, the next one is what a Rams win in the Super Bowl means for the future of the NFL draft. The Rams do not have that many picks, especially all their first-round picks are gone because they
for the next 5 years, right?
Yeah, next 5 years, and they hadn't taken their last first-round pick was Jared Goff. They traded away a bunch of first-round picks to get Jalen Ramsey, another one to get Stafford, and then they traded away a second-round pick to get Von Miller. They have pushed against the system of building through the NFL draft. No, they just use picks to get already established players and then you just hit on late round picks. So it will be interesting to see if the Rams win and they win in a dominant way, and they see, oh, teams might be more willing to trade their first round picks, especially if they're high picks, and get some really nice players. And then you could see a team having 4 picks in the first round, or multiple teams having multiple picks, like 3 teams having 2 first round picks, or 5 teams having 2. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
That's true, but at the same time, we look at a team like the Seahawks, who traded for Jamal Adams, and everything really turned downhill from there. And that's a cautious tale of why not to do it. So it goes both ways. I don't think this is going to change all that much. It may entice some more teams, but I think it'll detract other teams looking at the Jamal Adams situation. So it really is the results that define the move, even though that may not be the best way to look at it.
And if the Rams don't win, and then they'll look at like, we really messed up on those trades. But if they do, no one cares. It's done. They won the Super Bowl. They accomplished the goal of what they wanted to do when they traded those picks. So I'll let you talk about the next storyline.
Yeah, the next storyline is Aaron Donald versus the Bengals O-line. Aaron Donald has been a force, but in his only other Super Bowl appearance, he had no sacks. So that being true, I feel like he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And the Bengals O-line, especially their right guard, is going to have to deal with him like he is the reincarnation of Jesus Christ, because he is one of the best, if not the best, defensive tackles of all time. Absolute dominant player who has to be dealt with every single year.
Yeah, I think the Rams should just, no matter what, put Aaron Donald on the right guard. Just do that. Because that right guard kept getting beat by Chris Jones. It was a fantastic defensive tackle, but I think Donald is better than Chris Jones. Even though they're great defensive tackles, Chris Jones was being that right guard. Put Donald on right guard, and everyone else, like, they may have to triple team Donald, and then you got one-on-one with Von Miller and Leonard Floyd, and there's also A'Shawn Robinson, who I think is a very good defensive tackle. So I'm very curious to see how Donald plays against the O-line and how many times he hits Joe Burrow or sacks him. So I think it will be a historic day for Aaron Donald. Now we'll go on to Odell and how his play this playoffs and how he does in the Super Bowl affects his free agency market, because he's going to be a free agent next year. So maybe he re-signs with the Rams. But Odell, I was really impressed with how Odell played in the playoff games, and I think he was a huge part of their success. Cooper Kupp is the best wide receiver there, but having a nice secondary option in Odell, I think, really improved his market, and I think he might get a lot of money in this offseason, depending on how he plays in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening, but if he flounders, if he has a terrible game, I could also see it going the other way. This is the biggest spotlight. Everyone is going to be watching, and this will impact almost everyone's free agency decisions, depending on who plays well, who doesn't play well. And if someone has a Gabriel Davis type game, even if they're unheard of, they may get a lot of money, whether that's in the future or now. I mean, we saw David Tyree become a household name out of nowhere, even though he was not that great of a player for the season and for his career, really. Super Bowl can define your entire career.
What about Jermaine Kearse?
That's true. He also made an amazing catch. He also won a Super Bowl. Yeah, names like that live in infamy. Same with Malcolm Butler.
Yeah, Malcolm Butler. Now, that's our final storyline. Now, predictions. Who scores first? Team and player.
I have Joe Mixon, Bengals.
Interesting. I have Cooper Kupp, Rams. So, that's who I have. What?
I said next.
Next is over/under 8 sacks combined. I think I'm going to go under.
I went over. That's good. I like that.
I was thinking about it.
If it's 8, by the way, just so we get this out of the way, if it's 8, it's a wash. No one wins.
Okay.
Just letting the people know who are listening. It's over/under 8. If it is 8, no one wins.
To me, I don't think the Rams are going to give that many sacks up, because, like you mentioned, Whitworth is healthy, and the thing is, the majority of these sacks would have to be Aaron Donald, and I could see the Rams maybe giving up 2, or Von Miller. But I don't see the Rams sacking Joe Burrow 6 times. Or they have to do it 7
The
times.
Titans sacked him 9 times. I would win it just if the Bengals got no sacks and they just repeated what the Titans did. Now, obviously, the Titans have a 3-headed monster, but I'm going to go over. I think over is the best
Oh, yeah.
bet. I probably think my prediction right now: Joe Burrow gets sacked 7 times. Matt Stafford gets sacked 2 times. That's why I'm doing
Okay.
right there. That's 9. I'm going over.
I think they might surprise us. They might do just some really quick passes. So that's why I'm
But
going
doesn't
under.
that take Jamar Chase out of the game? Quick passes aren't all that effective.
Well, but I saw them like on one of the highlights. I saw them throw a quick pass to Jamar Chase, and that could get
Yeah,
him
but no,
involved.
not against Jalen Ramsey. That's gonna be. I don't think you can do that against Jalen Ramsey. He's gonna be biting on that every time because he
see.
knows that if you're going around a deep route, there's a good chance of a sack. So I think that almost negates Jamar Chase.
Okay, we'll see. Now, final score and Super Bowl MVP. I think you and I are going to differ on the score.
Final
A
score:
lot.
I have Rams 19, Bengals 16.
Oh, wow. I'm going, yeah, we are going to differ. 36. No, 37. Rams, Bengals, 9.
Oh, so you think it's going to be an absolute
I think it's going to be
destruction?
an absolute blowout.
Even though the Rams have struggled in, offensively speaking, in their playoff games, like that matter. Like I don't think they played all that well, especially against the Bucks the entire second half.
But they
And
made the
the
play.
Cardinals, again, the whole second half, they didn't have to do anything. And then the 49ers, they struggled the entire game. I don't know. I think it's going to be a low scoring matchup.
I hope it's close. If it's 19-16, it would be incredible. I'm just afraid that the magical run for the Bengals is going to end miserably.
And with a whimper.
Yeah, and it's just going to be a bad one. And I think the Rams are just going to explode. And I just, even though I have 8 sacks less combined.
It only increases the sacks the higher score
know,
you go because the Bengals have to start passing more.
I just don't think. I think he's going to be heavily under pressure, but he may just get out of the ball. He may just throw away the ball, and I think they're just going to get in field goal range, but I don't see them capitalizing. I just think this Rams defense is just going to be too hard or too big, or it's going to be too much of a challenge for them given their issues with the offensive line. And you talked about what I said, quick passes. You said that takes out Jamar Chase. So it'll be interesting to see. And then my Super Bowl MVP would be Matthew Stafford.
My Super Bowl MVP is Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
And then we
that
have Gatorade color, and then I have something afterwards that I have to ask you.
Oh, yeah.
But Gatorade color, I went with purple. Normally, the last time it was purple was 2011 when the Giants beat the Patriots. But I feel like, well, it's blue, it's orange. You don't want it to be blue, and you don't want it to be orange just in case the other team wins. So I think they're going to go with purple, a nice, not close to any other color. My guess is purple. I was really close to saying green for lime, but I'm going purple.
I almost did green, but I think I'm going to go red because weird theory that I just came up with. The Niners lost and they were red, and the Chiefs were red and they lost in the championship game. So, man, I just put red. That's my guess.
Interesting. Now, I just want to ask you, just off the cuff, who's the key to victory for both teams? My key to victory, I'll just go first. I think the keys to victory the player that is going to make the difference for the Bengals is Joe Mixon. If Joe Mixon can get a running game going, now obviously the offensive line is part of that, but I think if Joe Mixon can get a running game going, start playing well, he'll take the pressure off of Joe Burrow and really, really get this Bengals team into a nice spot. Now for the Rams, I'm going to say the X factor is Andrew Whitworth. If Andrew Whitworth can just deny Trey Hendrickson, who is a very good pass rusher, I feel like that will really set up the Rams to do basically anything on offense.
Interesting. I'm going to go Jamar Chase. I think that's the Bengals' key. If he can have a big game, especially when he's facing Jalen Ramsey, he's definitely the go-to guy for Burrow. And looking back on that pick, it's the right move because look at where it got you. Even though with your offensive line troubles, Jamar Chase has just come and save Joe Burrow time and time again, and their chemistry is just off the charts. Then Rams X factor, Andrew Whitworth does make sense, but I just feel like going Stafford. Like we talked about, like some of the similar things, but Stafford is the big key, and this is why the Rams made that trade, because they wanted a quarterback like Stafford for that quarterback to get him to this moment. And I just think, how is Stafford going to share the ball? How is he going to get the cup? Because he's going to have to make some quick decisions, or they may do what they did against the Chiefs when they just rushed 3 and put 8 into coverage, or 7 into coverage.
Yeah, not 8, but yeah.
Yeah, because then that would be 12 men on the field. So then he has to take his time, and he has to figure out and throw in tight windows. So those are my 2 X factors. And then I want to talk about Andrew Whitworth. I had completely forgotten he was with the Bengals. It seems like he's been with the Rams forever, just because he's played so long. But it will be, I'm rooting for Andrew Whitworth, because it'd just be so cool to win a Super Bowl, even though it is against your former team.
Yeah, and he's 40, and he's really good still, so it's always fun to watch. Just something to note here before we end. We did 2 other videos before this. We did not agree one time today. Not once. On any of our predictions whatsoever. That wasn't even planned. We did not plan on that, and you went first on some of them, I went first on some of them, and somehow we can't seem to agree. So either you're going to be right, I'm going to be right, or we're both going to be wrong.
Well, we agreed on the winner. It's Rams.
That's it.
We just
well, but that
on
the thing's not called winner though. It's called final score.
Well, final score. Okay. Yeah, we haven't agreed on this one, but it will be interesting to see. And I really hope it's a close game. I'm just very scared that it's gonna be a blowout. But it's Super Bowl Sunday. We get to see commercials and Super Bowl halftime show. It'll be interesting. So that's all we got. Let us know how hyped you are for Super Bowl Sunday, and thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.